Cosmos Cowboys, I guess. That's what we are, right? We're Cosmos Cowboys. Bang, bang. My name is Jae Kwon. I'm the co-founder of Cosmos and founder of Tendermint. I created and co-developed key components of the Cosmos tech stack, including Tendermint Core, Cosmos SDK, and IBC. I'm currently working on Gnø.land, a smart contract platform written in Golang and is used to interpret Golang in a novel VM. And I'm also the founder of All in Bits. I was always interested in alternative financial system, and back in 2013, I saw the power of Bitcoin to decentralize finance. I was excited by this, but there were problems with the way that Bitcoin works. Proof of work consensus algorithm doesn't allow for scaling, and it's environmentally unfriendly, although I do agree that we do need Bitcoin too. But in order to solve the holy grail of scaling blockchain applications, we really needed solid consensus algorithm. And once we solved that with Tendermint, connecting blockchains through light client proofs came naturally because we solved Tendermint in a really nice way using BFT algorithms. And once we had proof of work solved with proof of stake using BFT, we decided to create Cosmos to create a better financial system that allows multiple tokens, that uses BFT algorithms, and allows for interoperability with IBC and for scaling. We want to create and enable borderless transactions, permissionless innovation, and economic security through a network of sovereign distributed blockchains that can interact trustlessly. To me, Cosmos, it's like the World Wide Web. So when the World Wide Web was first created on top of TCP/IP, it was not Web 2.0, but Web 1.0. And we don't really use the term World Wide Web anymore, and we've evolved past that, but we still agree that we're on the web or the internet. Similarly, I see Cosmos as a web of sovereign blockchains, and eventually it's all going to connect one way or the other, and we'll all be part of the Cosmos. I like the name because it means the universe as seen as an ordered whole. It's maybe a fantastic name for what are essentially distributed, secure transaction ordering systems. Cosmos offers a viable alternative to the existing financial and political system. We're working toward a vision of building a fairer and more accountable world through transparent and sustainable solutions that guarantee economic security and decentralization. One of the greatest threats to our world right now is the regime of information censorship and mass manipulation through propaganda campaigns. Our liberties are being limited through things like the vaccine mandate and the coming CBDC, central bank digital currency system, which will, if we don't do something to prevent it, it will be used to control us and put us into a grid of control. Cosmos, it's at the forefront of developing the right technology to create an alternative to everything that already exists. I would have established the Constitution from the start to make it clearer what the hub is for and what the business plan is, and write more to describe how this ecosystem is going to unfold so that we have an aligned idea of what the Cosmos Hub should be. Some people say that the Constitution doesn't solve everything, and that's true, but by having something in writing and having clear vision in writing, it helps us a lot. And just like the US Constitution serves as a reminder for what should be in governance. But when I was talking about proof of stake early on in conferences and in chat channels on the internet, on forums, people thought I was insane. I even got kicked out of the Bitcoin Wizards IRC by Greg Maxwell, who I respect, but kicked me out and said I was a charlatan because proof of work maximalists don't want to hear about proof of stake systems. So I learned that you have to find people who are open to your idea and maybe not already bought into some other system. An aligned vision of where we're going. Is it more like Atom 2.0? Or is it more like focusing on ICS? And we also need better tooling for governance, not just deciding on what to do about a proposal, but also better UX for creating dialogue among parties that have different ideas. So instead of going to Telegram to throw mud at each other, it's always fun, but it would be better if we focus on creating better tooling to allow the best ideas, the best responses to bubble up. And along the way, while we're solving that, we can also create more expressive, accountable systems for treasury management, getting funding from the community pool to a treasury DAO, and then from there to sub DAOs. And every step along the way, we'll have contracts and what's expected and follow through and so on. It seems like we need to build these DAOs that include social coordination, conversation, and treasury management. I would say it's transparency. The obvious answer is decentralization, but we have that kind of down pat, at least with, the whole proof of stake, Tendermint thing. But what we need more is understanding where these proposals are coming from. Like how did they come to be? And instead of creating what appears to be a closed political party, we should always have these conversations out in the open and make sure that we're all held to account. So looking at you, ICF. Noam Chomsky and Richard Stallman certainly influenced my views and my technical views. But, I really like what Linus has done with Linux. It's sort of what I was aiming for with Tendermint, but I think we have still a long ways to go. And I think we can apply some lessons from the complexity of Linux now, the Linux kernel, to make sure that Tendermint stays simple. Anyways, and of course, Jesus. I like this book called The Master Switch. It talks about the evolution of technology going from the telephone to the internet, and it paints a broad picture of the evolution of technology and what's possible. My most useless talent, I'm really good at tuning a guitar, but I just don't play enough, so it's pretty useless talent. I think the best direction for the Cosmos Hub is for it to focus on solving ICS1. This will open the doors for basically anyone to create a better smart contract system. We're working on Gno.land, and there's also Cosmwasm and Evmos and all these great things. But whatever it is, there's probably going to be a winning smart contract system, kind of like how JavaScript won in the browser wars. And from this platform, I believe, we will see great implementations of new social coordination and communication technology. Like the whole DAO, treasury management and governance thing I was talking about, it's all related, right? But there's more we need to do. We can also create decentralized, transparent, and open Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these things that are in Web 2.0 and seem to be gatekept by moderators. We can actually create something that's open so that if something ever gets controlled in a way we don't like, we can fork it. And I think we need that today. I know we need that today. We need it yesterday because of this censorship regime we're under. Yeah, so, in the evolution of software, first there was shrink wrap software where you got it in a floppy disk and you bought it in a store. And then there was software as a service, after internet protocols like TCP/IP and HTTP and other things, we had software running on servers, not on your computer, but on someone else's computer, accessible through the web. And then we had the next iteration of evolution was platform as a service. And that was data centers and cloud hosting companies like Amazon providing EC2, so general compute as a service and so on. So that's platform as a service. What I call validation as a service is sort of like a next step where it's not just the platform that's offered, but there's also a security guarantee behind it. So there's something at stake and there's economic security that's provable. So in other words, the Cosmos Hub, when it offers ICS, it should be similar to or comparable to Amazon starting to offer EC2. And I think that's the business that the Cosmos Hub should pursue. The obvious one is learn how to code, or at least read code. I'm biased towards Go. It's a great language. And in order to do that, it's best to contribute to open source software, and to read open source software, and to read specifications. That's really nice. And another word of advice would be don't trust everything that you see. There's a lot of misaligned incentives when it comes to promoting projects. And, we saw what happened with Luna. Don't put your money in something where you haven't actually done the work of verifying that it's going to be safe. And many things are not going to be safe. So, make sure you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Learn how to hedge. So what I mean by that is I think the easiest way to keep your mind off anxiety that comes with market price fluctuations is to keep a percentage of different categories in your portfolio and to keep those percentages constant so that when one asset class goes up in value, you might have to sell some. And this forces you to buy low and sell high. And this in turn it allows you to not be so anxious about market conditions. So you have the time and the mental capacity to learn and to invest in your mind and your knowledge set. This whole entire space. Yeah. So I've always been interested in a couple things. Distributed systems ever since college, university. But in 2008, when the financial crisis happened, it really got me thinking about how did this come to be and how did the financial system evolve to be this way and how do we fix it? And I realized later on, actually in 2012, 2013 is when I realized that Bitcoin has an answer. It is a real plausible alternative financial system that is really secure, and that got me excited because it's a distributed system that is, it's nearly impossible to take down. And it got me thinking about all the possibilities. Like, imagine if we can have all these financial experiments, and imagine if local economies could have their own blockchain that has its own sovereign monetary policy and so on. And if we can all just make these interact and interoperate with each other, then it seems like it would catalyze a transformation of not just the financial system, but also the way we coordinate and govern ourselves. So I started in 2013. I decided to go, all into the blockchain or cryptocurrency space. Initially, I wanted to create an exchange to compete with Cryptsy. Remember Cryptsy from back then? Yeah. And worked for like 6 months to create a good crypto exchange platform. And I was about to launch it when I realized that classical Byzantine fault-tolerant algorithms, which had been in development since like the 70s, actually holds a solution to replacing proof of work. So I dropped all of that and just started working on Tendermint ever since 2014. That's how it started. And before that, I was interested in cryptography because of the Snowden revelations. So I was working on open source projects to help with like end-to-end encrypted communications. And so all of this, these three factors, interest in distributed systems and the desire to create better tools and better platforms for financial innovation, and the desire to, and the interest in cryptography just kind of led to Tendermint.
Cool.
So that's one aspect of it. The other thing is along the way, the reason why I'm doing this, let's talk about why for a moment, right? Maybe I didn't talk about that enough. The technical aspect is really cool, but what I really want out of it is to solve problems that we see that are real today, like countering censorship and countering cartel control of monetary supply, like owning our lives, and countering significant geopolitical forces by just offering good tech freely to everyone and making it a mission for this technology and the people that support it to create good software that's secure and simple and intuitive, scalable for everyone on the globe, basically, right? So if you look at the difference between a Cosmos hub, which is a very for-profit design, in order to get anything out of it, once you have the atom, if you delegate it, then you earn percentage transaction fees. It's, at least the token design makes it so that, it ensures that the people who hold and delegate atoms are people who are, interested in consensus and this technology, this emerging technology. So it creates a signal to noise filter, but it's still an economic system at its core. Anyone can buy into it, right? But I don't think that's the best way to create movements. With all the DeFi, I don't really see blockchain projects really try to solve censorship problems, So I'd like to create a network of people who can help validate this thing with a shared intent to solve problems and offer the best designs and maintain the smart contract programming language.
So I'm Manfred Touron and I work on Gnø.land, Gno.land and the Gno ecosystem. So the thing that I like the most about Interchain is independence. So Gno is not building on Cosmos, it's building on the side of Cosmos. So maybe the main difficulty is forgetting everything we made, challenge everything we made until now. So Gno is a smart contracting platform that uses proof of contribution instead of proof of stake. So Gno is started as a fork of Tendermint, but then we decided to change everything, or to reconsider everything. So today we have a custom Tendermint version. We have a different security mechanism, proof of contribution. We are not compatible with Cosmos SDK. We try to make everything that was kind of frustrating or that we wanted to do differently. So basically, we are equivalent in terms of vision, spirit, but completely different in terms of implementation. The most special thing is probably proof of contribution. So proof of contribution is a mechanism replacing proof of staking. So instead of staking your liquid tokens, you earn contribution tokens, the Gno shares, and those Gno shares are used to distribute the chain fees like you would normally do with proof of staking. So you replace the action of staking and unstaking by earning shares by making any kind of contribution, and you have a rewarding way to secure the chain, which is more fair, less based on finance, and probably more future-proof. Start early. You will earn Gnosh. You will never lose your Gnosh. So you will earn rewards until your death. And at the beginning, there won't be many developers. So start early. You will earn many Gnosh that will give you a reward for the rest of your life, and you will probably make the library that will be used the most. So even more rewards. So yes, if you want to build something on Gno, start early and make more money.
But it's also about politics as well. So just yesterday, there was an issue of sovereignty, right? So it's such a human earth problem to have this issue where we have a restricted amount of two-dimensional land and we have to figure out our boundaries, right? What Bitcoin did was it bootstrapped an economic system from scratch, and somehow it was able to thrive. It was like as if there was some kind of vacuum, and this new BFT ledger was like self-incentivizing. I feel like we are missing a governance system that allows people to feel like, yeah, you know what? We have a conflict where we want to have our own sovereign jurisdiction. What is a system that people, say in the Bay Area, who are living here and who have a conflict of housing, can come together and say, I like this governance system. I feel like if I engage with this system, my voice will be heard. Because a lot of people don't feel that way today in local governance. And what we can do is create programmatic cryptoeconomic solutions that create new experiments that allow people in municipalities to come together and create something together. So with that, Cosmos, which is the project that we've been working on, is about making blockchains interoperate. It's a short announcement that we're... All right, so I want to leave just a few 2 cents. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we as a community are the ones that are going to define the future, new ecosystem, the new economy. And we can either work together in a collaborative way so that we can all succeed, or we can fight among ourselves and drown in the noise of, whatever. So I'd like for us to all succeed, and so I want to share some tips that I've learned. Don't spend your time convincing people who are already religious. It's a waste of time. Make sure, triple check everything you know, triple check your premises whenever somebody criticizes you, but go out to other people who are interested in your idea. Create modular systems that work together. This is how we will innovate faster, right? It's the Unix philosophy. It's what Tendermint is about, ABCI is about, it's what smart contracts are about. It's about creating layers that work together. In the future, we'll see the same kind of layering system, with storage systems, new Merkle-proof systems, and interoperability systems and blockchain SDKs. There's not a whole lot of things left to believe in, you know. The environment is going to shit. People don't believe in the government. Science conflicts with religion, right? I feel like the only thing left, besides crazy transhumanism, is creating tools for us to coordinate and create community. So we have the responsibility because we're the only ones who have hope left, I feel. So with that, I'm looking forward to this conference. Thank you very much.
And tell me, what's your vision of how do you see the cryptocurrencies? What's going to happen, do you think? What's your prediction?
I think initially, once we start getting a network effect from blockchains that can actually interoperate with each other by literally communicating virtually directly to each other. We don't have that today. Today, blockchains are kind of isolated, and they're kind of like computers were before there was the internet. And so if you wanted to interoperate, you have to copy something to a floppy disk and move it to another computer. But all of this is about to change. And so I think that combined with more understanding by the general public about the benefits of blockchains and cryptocurrencies, and perhaps some more financial turbulence in the future might cause a perfect storm of community currencies perhaps being picked up. So I don't know if anybody knows the answer as to what's going to happen, but who knows?
Well, that sounds like a nice guess, and I'll certainly hold the focus, and I'm sure that the financial institutions as they stand today do need a bit of a change, so you're obviously going to help provide that. Thank you so much, and look forward to the panel tonight.
Likewise, thank you.